Hey beauties, Ashley here, and today I'm bringing you my best of 2016. So today we are going to talk about my all-time favorite products of 2016, and these are my die-hard, the ones that I used the most. I do not have one for every single category of like a piece of makeup because I'm not the kind of person who wants to just like randomly pick something just so that I have something to talk about and throw into that category if it wasn't actually something that I loved and was obsessed with. I really just want to talk about the items that I was absolutely obsessed with all year long or for the most of the year, whether I found it in this year or whatever. But those are the ones that I want to talk about. So I'm just going to go ahead and dive right in. This is in no specific order. So randomly, I'm just going to talk first about my Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer. So I'm sure you guys have seen this all over YouTube this year. I feel like it blew up this year. The first person I saw using it was Kathleen Lights, and she kind of inspired me to go pick it up. The second she told me it smelled like pina colada in her video, I was like, I need that because I love anything coconut scented, anything along those lines. So whether it was actually good or not, I was like, I need that. So this is in shade Bronzer. I think there are other shades. As you can tell, it was well loved because I've hit pan. I'm gonna have to pick up another one eventually. But the reason that I love this is not just because the packaging is adorable and that it smells like pina colada, but if you just look at this, it is very, very rare to find, especially drugstore, a bronzer or any type of like contour shade that is cool toned and doesn't make you look orange at all whatsoever. And the fact that this also works so well for light skin. So I can use this when I'm self-tanned or when I'm pale, and when I'm pale, it's really, really hard for me to find certain products to use. This has been my contour shade for when I'm pale. And when I'm self-tanned, I just use it like a bronzer all over, and I don't feel like it makes me look too dark, and it doesn't make me look any shade of orange whatsoever. So seriously, if you haven't tried this yet, and you can find it at your local drugstore, I definitely recommend picking it up because this was quite the product for me this year and I loved it, honestly. I'm so glad that I went ahead and got it. Next, I want to go ahead and say that I had a new favorite foundation this year, which was shocking because I was hooked on the Marc Jacobs foundation for the longest time. I'm sure you guys have seen me use it constantly, and I do still love that one. It's so full coverage, but this year was just kind of like, I wanted my skin to look like skin, and like I just wanted something more natural, and I was okay with things not being full coverage. And I found that my favorite foundation this year was the Maybelline Fit Me foundation in the Dewy Smooth formulation. Normal to dry formulation, sorry. This is in shade 125 Nude Beige. This was the color that I was using throughout the year. And if I was not self-tanned at the time, I would mix it with something to make it lighter, and if I was self-tanned at the time, I would mix it with something to make it darker. But I loved this foundation. It took me so long to get on the bandwagon with this. I didn't pick it up, honestly. I think I bought this foundation after L'Oreal came out with their Dewy foundation, which I liked that one as well, but I feel like this one holds up better and it's a little bit more coverage, but this has just definitely been doing the job for me and I love it. It just leaves my skin looking very natural. And I think that that's the #1 reason that I loved this foundation this year. Quick shout out, I'm not going to talk about it because I've talked about this in a million favorites videos, but I just had to give a quick mention again to my favorite mascara, which die hard for years. I'm obsessed with the Wet n Wild Mega Length Mascara, and it's definitely because of the wand, and I always buy the waterproof formulation. I like that formulation. I do not like the non-waterproof formulation, but this wand is just my favorite mascara wand, and I've been faithful to this for years, and I just will always go back to it. This was a discovery for me. I think I discovered this in 2016. I'm not sure if I picked this up in 2016 or 2015. I'm not positive, but the IT Cosmetics Bye Bye Under Eye Concealer. I have gone through so many concealers to cover my dark circles, and it has been impossible over the years to find something that really does the job, and I've ditched so many products because they just didn't work. This is the most full coverage. It's just the best concealer I have found for covering my dark circles, and it's like a thick consistency. It's very unique to any other concealer I've ever used. Love this. I will continue to use it. I have a lot of concealers that did not work for me. If you guys are interested in seeing like a products that I didn't like video, I would definitely do that for you, because I feel like I do actually have a roundup of things that I wasn't quite the fan of at this point in my life, and I would be okay with showing them to you. Not to like bash any brands or anything, but if that's something that you guys are interested in seeing, I would gladly tell you guys why something didn't work for me, and that doesn't mean that it won't work for you, but if that's something you want to see, let me know. My favorite lip product of this year, I discovered it in this year and I wore it. It was just my go-to. Like no matter what, if I wasn't sure what I felt like wearing that day, this is the product that I was putting on. And that is the Milani Amore Matte Lip Cream, specifically in shade 10 Adorable. I love the formulation of these. I discovered them this year for the first time. They smell like cake batter, but this particular color was the perfect nude for me, and these last so long and they are ridiculously comfortable for being a liquid lipstick, because I have tried, like, you know, I have a lot of the ColourPop and the Kat Von D and other liquid lipsticks, and I love those, don't get me wrong, but they make your lips just dry. It's just, that's the nature of like a matte liquid lipstick. This to me just leaves my lips actually feeling comfortable and you have some movement to them. So that was my favorite liquid lipstick formula for the year. Next I wanted to give a quick shout out to my favorite brush. And you guys know that I have Sigma brushes. I have all kinds of different brands of brushes. This was my #1 favorite brush this year, and I don't even know what it's specifically called, but it's by e.l.f. and I picked mine up at Target. But it's just this like thick, fat fan shape. And this has been my ideal contouring brush, and this goes in my bag, goes with me everywhere. I use this for, you can use this for just about anything, but this has been my favorite brush all year long. I was always aware of the individual trio lashes. For the longest time, I did not wear strip lashes. I was not a fan, and it was because I'm a contact wearer and almost any type of lashes irritate my eyes. So for the first time this year, I tried the Ardell Demi Wispies. This is not the actual packaging that they come in, but this is just what I have going on. This is a pair that was not worn yet, but I discovered these, the Ardell Demi Wispies, this year, and they were the first strip lashes that are actually comfortable on my eyes that I can actually wear. I'm actually wearing a pair of them right now. But yeah, I had to give them a shout out because it was very hard for me to find comfortable lashes, and those have done the job for me. So I've actually been wearing strip lashes for like the first year in my life. So those had to get a shout out. Next I wanted to talk about, I believe I bought this year, which was the MAC Soft Ochre paint pot. I know I was late to the bandwagon on this one as well, but this has been my favorite eyeshadow primer. And I think it's because it gives like some coverage to your eyes before you go ahead and apply your product on top of it. And I think that it does a beautiful job at that, because I used to use the Urban Decay Primer Potion. I've used like the Too Faced like Shadow Insurance and everything in the past. And not that I don't like those, but they just don't exactly give you coverage, which if that's not something that you feel like you need in a primer product, like, it's not necessary, but I just personally liked it. So this has been my favorite eyeshadow primer for the whole year of 2016. Another MAC product I wanted to shout out that I got, the Mineralized Skin Finish in Medium. This is the first time I picked this up, and this quickly became my favorite powder ever because it's just so smooth. It doesn't make my skin feel dry when I wear it, and that's a big deal for me. Like, I know that the baking trend and everything happened during this year and all, and everybody was baking their face, and I did it too, and I do it too sometimes, but it can be very drying on your face, and then I feel like eventually, like, it doesn't really look like skin anymore when you're just putting too drying of products. I know that everybody's been raving about the RCMA No Color Powder lately, but I have yet to try that. I do really want to try that, so I'm probably going to order that this year. Let me guys know what you think, but this has been my powder for this year, so I've been loving it. I just wanted to give a quick mention. This was the first time in my life this year that I bought a pair of Tweezerman tweezers. I don't think I ever owned like a really good brand of tweezers, but I bought a pair this year, my little purple, little baby ones, Tweezerman tweezers. I just never really thought, I don't know, like, we used the Tweezerman tweezers when I was in cosmetology school to do like browse and whatnot and learn all that. But for some reason, I just never bought a pair for my own personal use. And these are seriously like so freaking good and so accurate, and they grip so well. If you've never invested in a really good pair of tweezers, I know it seems like pricey for a tiny little pair of tweezers, but it really is worth it. Sorry, that's my phone. I had the hardest time choosing a favorite eyeshadow palette for 2016. So I have one that I'm going to show you that I decided is going to be my favorite for 2016, but I had to give a little honorable mention to the Anastasia Modern Renaissance and the Too Faced Sweet Peach palette, because I did like really use these this year. I loved them. Like, okay, first off, I'm sure you guys have seen these because these were the two that were like mainly raved about because they seriously were really unique that just like came out this year. And especially this, the Modern Renaissance palette. Like, have you ever seen a palette that has these beautiful colors? Like, this was the first one to just like drop that had these like reddish colors to them. And I feel like after that, like, these other brands started to obviously come out with similar palettes because that tends to happen. But this was just so unique and amazing quality. I have Anastasia Shadows like palettes from before, and they definitely stepped up the quality game when they dropped this one. But I loved this year, and I will continue to love it for 2017. But I wanted to give that an honorable mention along with the Too Faced Sweet Peach. I know that for some people this was like a hit or miss, but for me, not only do I absolutely love the way that it smells, the smell alone is just like, I'm such a sucker for packaging, but for me, I loved the shades that are in here. Particularly, my favorite shade was this orange shade here, Candied Peach. But I've always been a fan of like the Too Faced palettes, like the chocolate bar palettes. I have all of them, and I've always loved Too Faced shadows, and I don't think that this was any exception. This one was just as good, and I thoroughly enjoyed the color selection that they put in this palette. So that was a big favorite for me this year also. But I had to give first place to my Tartelette in Bloom. And even though those two palettes kind of excited me more, I had to give first place to my Tartelette in Bloom. First off, look at the beautiful packaging. It's just gorgeous. But I had to give first place to this one because I definitely used this the most. Like, I mean, I wear neutrals on a day-to-day basis. I'm not really going to go crazy and use like any wild colors or anything like that. On a regular day-to-day basis, it's just not like my go-to look. So when I'm just like quick getting ready and need to throw something on, I don't really want to have to think about it. This is what I was reaching for this year. Beautiful. These shadows were such amazing quality. And seriously, like, this Firecracker shade was my favorite eyeshadow of the entire year. I just loved every single shadow in this palette. I loved that this time around they added some shimmers in here as well, because if you're familiar with the first Tartelette palette, they were all matte. But I loved the combination of mattes and shimmers in this palette this year. Tarte just killed it with this one. And I love the huge mirror, the packaging, like everything about this palette was perfection. I had to give this the first place spot for 2016 because I definitely used it the most out of all of my eyeshadow palettes, even though the other two were like a really close second. Next, I had to talk about my Becca Jaclyn Hill palette. I always loved Champagne Pop. Like, I have that. I'm pretty sure the Champagne Pop was in my best of the year for 2015 favorites. So, like, that's no surprise. But the reason that I wanted to put this in here this year is because I just needed to say that this blush shade, Amaretto, it's gorgeous. It was the blush shade for me this year. Like, starting from when I got this palette, this is my go-to blush shade. Like, if I'm not sure what I feel like wearing that day, this is what I'm wearing. And the packaging of this and this huge mirror that they give you, I'm trying not to blind you with my lights, but This palette was just so good. And the fact that Champagne Pop was already in here for me to just reach for both that and Amaretto at the same time, like, I couldn't beat it. I used this so much this year. It was ridiculous. So seriously, Becca and Jaclyn Hill killed it on this. Not the eyeshadow palette, but that's a whole nother story, but I've talked about that before. But this was my favorite thing from that duo collection that they did, and this was well worth the money. I'm totally obsessed with this palette. Next I wanted to go ahead and mention I had to mention my nails, because let's be real, these are my most viewed videos. The videos where I use my Kiss Active Oval nails that I get from the drugstore. Like, they're so cheap, and I love these full cover nails. I have tons of full cover nails. I have like the longer ones from like Amazon and stuff, like the ones that are already in the shape of stilettos. I have round ones, square ones, blah 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 blah. I have every single Kiss nail that they make, but the Active Oval are my go-tos. These ones I wear the most, and they get the most attention on my channel too, so obviously you guys are liking them as well. But if you have yet to try full cover nails, like, you're missing out, because I don't even go to the nail salon anymore. If you apply these the right way, like the way that I do in my videos that are on my channel, you prep your nails properly, these last me 2 to 3 weeks easy. And that's just as long as it would take me to go get a refill of my acrylics, and yet these don't wreck my nails in any way, shape, or form. So I use these now, not only for saving money, I just prefer them. I just like them so much more. So I had to put these in here for 2016. Okay, so kind of getting away from like well, not really, because I still have this. I just wanted to mention my MAC Prep and Prime. I was so late to the game on the Fix Plus, but like, I was always using the Urban Decay like all-nighter setting sprays. I used a couple other setting sprays before, but I decided when I tried this that this is my favorite, because this, to me, like the Urban Decay setting sprays and stuff, like, sets everything and makes it last. Like, it definitely helps it last. But the reason I prefer the MAC Fix Plus is because this is the furthest thing from matte. Like, I feel like this melts all my makeup together and leaves my skin looking like fresh, dewy, and natural. Like, it doesn't mattify your makeup. It just kind of like blends everything together, and it just looks seamless, and it takes away any powdery look that you might have on your face. This is my favorite setting spray nail, and I love using it for my mixing medium, also for when I need my eyeshadows to be wet. So this was my spray this year. Loved it. This is empty. This is a full-size Moroccan oil. This is like the big Mama Jamma. So, and it's empty. I have like a drop left in here. I'm due to get another one. I definitely go through these faster than normal people because I do hair, so I use it on my clients when they're here. So I use it on them, so I go through it faster than other people, but this will last you forever. You guys have heard me talk about Moroccan oil on my channel before. Everybody that I turn onto this, it becomes like their holy grail. They cannot live without it. It is liquid gold. It seriously is amazing, and I know that it's pricey. I do happen to get it for cost from Cosmo because I have my cosmetology license, so I luck out there. For other people, it is very, very expensive. I'm not even gonna lie, but seriously, it is worth every freaking penny, because this makes your hair just like feels so healthy and silky, and it just does wonders for your hair, seriously. So if you haven't tried Moroccan oil, and it has to be the brand Moroccan oil, because I've used like the knockoffs, like the argan oils and whatnot, and they're all right, but I can just tell the difference. It's not the same as using like the Moroccan oil brand. Lastly, for another hair product, I just wanted to give my favorite mousse a shout out, and I've been purchasing this for years, and this is by Wella. I also get this at Cosmo, but this is my Wella Extra Volume Mousse. Back in the day, it was not in this packaging. This is a new packaging, but not only do I love putting this mousse in my hair like before I blow dry it, and it seriously helps me get so much volume to it, it smells so good that when I wear this, it smells so good that people either say to me, your hair smells really good, or they say to me, what perfume are you wearing because you smell really good? And I'm like, it's not my perfume, you're smelling the mousse that's in my hair. And like, I could wear my hair blown out for a few days, and it still smells like this mousse. Like, it just smells so good. So if you ever see this Wella mousse, give it a try. And it doesn't leave your hair like crunchy or anything, which is my favorite thing about it. Even though it says that it's like an extra volume one, you would think that it would leave your hair a little crunchy, but it seriously doesn't. This mousse is my shit. I love this mousse. But yeah, so I think that that's all of my products that were huge standout pieces that I really wanted to mention for this year. These were my diehards, the ones that I used faithfully all year long, and they really like did something for me to where I remembered it and I was like, I need to talk about that in my yearly favorites because that product like really did a lot for me this year. And for most of these, they've done a lot for me for many of years. Like, I'm a repeat purchaser of these products. So I think that that was a good roundup of my favorite products. I don't feel like I'm missing anything. If I am forgetting anything, I'm probably going to be devastated about it. But for the most part, I think that I hit everything. This was such a good year. I know that everybody's like, oh, the year flew by fast. I don't really think that I felt like it flew by fast. It just, a lot happened this year, you know, that I can't complain about. I know there's like this big ongoing joke that 2016 was just like the worst year. But I don't feel like it was the worst year for me. I mean, like, I got engaged in 2016. Just a lot, I feel like, happened. A lot of our firsts in our house happened this year. Like we just got our first home not too long ago. I mean, we've been in here for over a year now, but like a lot of like our first celebrations and whatnot we got to do throughout the last like year or two. And I don't know, I didn't think it was a crappy year. I know that it was crappy for some people and a lot of really unfortunate things happened this year, but for me, I kind of enjoyed 2016. I'm hoping that 2017 is going to be even better. There's a lot to look forward to. Like, one of my best friends' weddings is coming up in 2017 and I'm in it, so that's going to be a lot of fun. Like, there's a lot to look forward to. We're going to be planning our wedding and everything for I was saying 2016, but I meant like 2017. So this upcoming year. Just a lot's going on. And as far as my channel, like, it's definitely been like slow growing, but I've had so much fun doing my videos and everything. And I've met so many girls on here that I get to talk to. You guys, I've like legitimately made friends on social media that like we message back and forth with each other. And that happened because of YouTube. Like, I wouldn't have found those people who I talk to now on a pretty regular basis if it weren't for starting YouTube. And things just kind of like picked up more in 2016. So I've been loving it. I hope that everything grows even more in 2017. I love interacting with you guys, and it's just awesome when you find people that you can talk to that have similar interests as you. So it's been a great year, and I'm looking forward to 2017 being even better. So thanks for watching, guys, and if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel so that you can stick around for all of the videos that are to come in 2017. And I will talk to you guys in my next one. Bye!